this work is called Summer Nights, and it's made of paper. And he uses many mediums, and he has used very much, for example, mirrors and text and photographs and everything. This work was made or was exhibited first in the late 90s. It's not really actually made by the hands of the artist, but it should be made by the hands of the curator of the exhibition where it's shown at. And the colors should also, according to the artist, be selected by the curator. So actually the color choice for this exhibition is made by me, for instance. And it should be made based on intuition, as well as practical reasons according to the availability of colored paper in the next art store next to the exhibition space. In this case, it's probably one of the biggest art stores in the world, so I could not have that as a selecting factor. So the selection is based on many things, but that is sort of, I could say, besides the point. That is sort of the inner life of the work itself. Maybe I can tell you just a little bit about, let's say, his inspiration for this work. On one hand, it's a short story that was kept in his memory for many years, which is that of a sort of an old man in Iceland who used to drink very much and never spoke to people in a bar. And Hreinn, the artist, could always remember for years and years the only sentence he ever heard this man say. And this sentence was, the night has the shape of a cone. So he wanted to make this cone shape as to sort of catch an image of the night, if you will. But the other factor, maybe descriptive of the work, or how can I say, connected to the work, is a sort of an attitude of the artist himself. That he very often makes works that actually are not handcrafted by himself. So he, as a statement in a way, his own statement about art in many cases is that the artwork is in fact immaterial, but it needs some kind of a form for us to have a little bit of help. So in most of his works he is not too occupied with his own sort of fingerprint, his own style in a way. And for example, he has made photographic works where he actually hands a camera to his uncle, for instance, and asks him to please take photographs, and then he will show them as his own, and so on. This is a work from slightly earlier, early 90s, and it basically has the same attitude again, this thing of, you know, it has a very simple look. Everyone can make it, but it sort of includes many layers of, let's say, different philosophical issues. The title Correspondence, you know, can of course refer to, you know, sort of love letters or homesickness or things like that, and also maybe in our digital sort of internet emailing period, it can also be a reference to sort of older times, slower times, slower ways of communication. Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, one can, of course, talk endlessly about these works because they are very open to different analyzation. But I personally, I'm much more in favor of the artist explaining works on a deeper level. So I leave it up to you to fill in into the meaning of the works. On a practical level, he uses old printing blocks that were used earlier to print headlines for newspapers. This is something he got from an old printer, I assume in Amsterdam, where he lives, has been living for many years. And one could say perhaps about all his works that they are quite typical of him, in a sense that they tend to have this immateriality and refer to the actual material they are made of. So the material, in a way, is as well the concept of the work. For example, in this case, the mirror reflecting sort of reverse letters and so on. But it's also kind of a joke, you know, in a way. His way of using the word by spelling out afterthought. It's no longer an afterthought. It's kind of a concrete thing, whereas an afterthought is somehow something that is like a thought slowly fading away. So I guess you could say from these three works, one might get some idea about the rest of his very large body of work, actually.